Hi, my name is Jay Pa, and I have a dragon tail. Not a tail that wags, but a tail that you tell. It involves a friend of mine who is Dousman Dragon, and our friendship that came to an abrupt end for a while, and since then we have made up again. But I think the story is interesting, and I hope you enjoy it. Here's a picture of Dawson and my dog Lou and me while we were out on a morning walk. This is my house. It's a beautiful house, or was a beautiful house, anyways, and I liked it very much. Uh, this all starts one day when I invited my friend Dousman over for breakfast. It was a pretty morning, but Dousman came a little bit early, as he was inclined to do, and rather than bother us, he decided that he would go through the back gate and come in through the back door. Well, that was fine, except that he was not really allowed in the backyard because of the obvious problems that creates. Take a look. Oh gosh, well, I'm sure that Dawson didn't mean to damage anything. He just meant to open the gate, but Dawson doesn't have the fine motor coordination to open a gate. He makes mistakes because of that lack of fine motor. Now, it turned out that it was the disappointment was substantial, so he wanted to get a hold of me, and I'm sure he wanted to tell me how sorry he was. He knew where my bedroom was, so he was thought he would get me up, and so he went into the bedroom is what he did, and again he sort of overdid it, as you can see. And I'm not feeling so good about this whole situation now. Um, and when he didn't find me, he decided he knew where the entranceway, the main entrance was, and so he headed over there and thought he'd take a look in the main entranceway. Well, all this was getting very noisy, and of course, if you're in a neighborhood when it's getting noisy, the neighbors show up, and they have all kinds of things to say, mostly about themselves. But anyways, we enjoyed having the neighbors, but it was at a fairly high cost.
Good, yeah. So it was, but it's totally amazing how what seemed to be a really sturdy house could come down with a Dawson.
Well, Dawson is basically a very neat dragon, and when he realized that he was making a terrible mess, he tried to gather up the pieces and put them in a neat pile, which I think he had been taught. And he had some very good features, very good behavior. So I sort of appreciated that, but I'm afraid it was not going to last. Now, when Dousman took out the front window, that was going too far as I was concerned. I was getting at it, and I said, I'm going to call your mother, and she's going to have to come over here and get you. This is you've lost control, and that's something I can't have in my house. And so I called his mother, and she was angry when I told her what was happening, and she said, "Well, you just tell him that when I come over there, I'm going to drain his tank." Drain his tank were her words. So now I had his mother against him, and I thought that was certainly going to change his behavior. His mother is a pretty tough dragon. knowing that his mom was coming over to drain his tank, Bosun panicked and decided to just drive right over the entire house and crush it to the last bit of life that it had in it. His mom did come, and what she found was Bosun perched on top of the heap. He was going to be the hero, at least for a while. His mom was going to take him home, and that was going to be a bad scene for poor old Bosun. Oh, yeah, well, 2 weeks later, Mrs. Dragon invited me over to see Dousman, and he was outside, and he was feeling very sorry because he had his tank would be dry for another month. He was confined to the yard, and he told me how sorry he was, and I felt sorry for him, particularly when he said he wanted to make it up to me, and so he would give me his allowance for the next 430,000 weeks, which would pretty well cover the cost of repairing the house. But then we looked at each other and said, well, let's let bygones be bygones. And Dousman said, why don't you come in and we'll have a little soup together. And so we went in his house, and the soup was it was nuts and bolts as usual. And since I don't eat nuts and bolts, I always just sort of scooped them into my lap and put them in my pockets and let it go at that. So that's my story about my the dragon that ate my house. Hope you enjoyed it.